Having data is useless if you don't know how to find what matters. In this video, I'll show you how to filter data in Pandas, the same way analysts find suspicious activity in logs. Now that you know how to select data using ilog and log, the next step is filtering, which is where things actually become useful. So for this video, we will using our old dataset, which is this input.csv. We have serial number, port, alphabets and months, and we have some mock data. So let's go back to our code. And read this file here. We will use read mode. Okay, so let's get started. So in this CSV, you can see in the month section, we have a list of months. Now, if I type data of months, as you know, this references the entire column. But if I do a comparison operator and write Jan, what do you think will happen? So it will check the entire column and if the value is Jan or not. So if you print it out, here you can see for the 0th row it is true and then it is false for all other rows, since Jan is appearing only once. So this is how you can use the comparison operator to check if a certain value exists in all the rows, but we can take this one step forward. So what we can do here is, so if you remember our last session, we were using data.log or ilog, and then we were passing the index values in which first we had rows and then we had column. So we will use a little bit similar syntax to filter events. So what we will do here is we will write the data frame name, which in this case is data, and then inside we can write our condition. So if you write data months is equal to Jan and print this out, this return all the rows where month is January. So previously we were just checking whether the value inside that column is January or not, but now we are filtering to only see all those rows where the month is January. We can even do it something like port and then let's remove it, 80, and run it again. So now you can see in the row 1st and 6th, we have two values where port is 80. So now this is one condition filtering. What you can do here is you can write multiple statements inside this. So for example, let's use brackets here. If you do data of port is equal to 80, and then if you want to check two conditions together, you can do, let's say, data of months is equal to Feb. So now we are checking whether the port is 80 as well as the month is February. So this should output only one row. Empty data frame. Something went wrong. Okay, we are not using the brackets here. So let's just enclose it. And then run it. Now you can see we are getting the desired output. This filters rows where both conditions are true. And if you put an OR operation here, this will return rows where any of these condition is true. So ampersand is for and the pipe is for OR. Now we have one more operator here, which is very useful. We can do something like data of port. And let's say you wanted to check 3 ports at the same time, 80, 443 and 20. Then normally you would be writing data port is equal to 80 or 443 or, and this will go on and on and on. But that does not seems right. So what you can do is you can simply here write isin, and then inside that pass a list of values which you want to check. So you can pass 20, 80 and 443. Now if you print it out, you will see all the rows where any of these conditions match. So the data of port, it should be inside, or any of the values inside this list, it should match those. This is useful when you want to filter multiple values at once. So the next we have is to filter non-null values. So what I mean is that you can do something like data, and inside that, let's check our condition that the data of months dot not null. And when you run this, you will get an output of all the rows where the month section is not null. In our case, we had a value in all row, so it output. But if you go ahead and remove, let's say, June from here, save this CSV, come back again and run it. So now the row which contained the June has been eliminated from here. You don't see the entry number 5, the index 5. So this remove rows where data is missing. So the next we have is to create new columns based on certain conditions. So what we mean to say is that let's say you have this input and you want to create another column which is, for example, risk column, and you want to say it is high risk, or you want to output value of true if the port is greater than 100, and if it is less than 100 you want to say okay, it's not risk. So what you can do here is you can define a column by the name of risk, and you can put the value as data of, okay, 1 square bracket, and you can type data of port is greater than 100. So now if you run this and also print data, let's see the output. Here you can see the risk is false, false, true, true. So in short, we have created new columns based on certain conditions that we provided. But please make note that this does not affect the CSV since we are not writing on it as of now. Now we have a few functions that can help us to visualize data in a better way. So let's get started. First we have is, you can select a certain column, let's select port, and then use the function of unique. As the name suggests, it outputs or it prints the unique values. In our input.csv, we have 20, 80, 443, and then some of them are repeating. So if you run this function, you will see we are getting an output as a list, and inside that list, we are getting all the unique values that this column has. The next we have is data. Let's again use port and value counts. Let's run. So this tells you frequency, which is very useful for spotting patterns. So in this case, you can see the 443 port appeared 3 times, 22 2 times, and then the frequency of all the unique values that we saw previously. The next we have is describe. So again, let's use port and dot describe. This gives statistical summary of your data. So in this case, you can see the number of count. In this case, there were 10 values, so 10 is the count. Then you have the mean, your standard deviation, minimum, 25, 50, 75, and then the maximum. So overall, it will give you a mathematical summary for your column. So now you can filter data, extract patterns, and create insights, which is exactly how analysts work with real datasets. In the next video, we will sort and group data to find deeper patterns. Like, share, and subscribe if you are learning cybersecurity or data analysis. I am breaking everything down step by step. I'll see you in the next one, and keep defending.